Hi, this is Phoenix City Councilman Sal DiCiccio, and welcome to On the Issues. This is an exciting program. We're going to be talking about how the City of Phoenix was able to land to be in the top 5 in the country places of all the cities to do business. The National Federation of Independent Business Owners ranked the City of Phoenix in the top 5 places to do business. Now, if you know me, I'm not going to be satisfied until we're number 1. But to be in the top 5 is a fantastic feat that we were able to accomplish here at the City of Phoenix. But it took time for us to get there. I want to walk you through what the City of Phoenix has done. We have literally instituted 24-hour permitting, 24-hour inspections. Our site plan approval process is 5 days or less. 93% of our projects are being approved in 5 days or less. What does that mean to you and your family? That means that jobs are created today, not months from now. Matter of fact, we put in place a process that now has become a national model throughout the entire country by being able to get jobs created today, not months from now. And what all this means, all these things that I'm talking about here, it means that now we're going to be able to see more security. We're going to be able to feel that we're a lot more secure in our jobs as well. If you look back in the history of the City of Phoenix, we've always been really good at what we've done. We've always been creative. We've always been innovative. But today, what we've done in the City of Phoenix blows all that out of the water. We're even faster now than most places in the entire country, if not all places in the country. If you remember going back in our history, the City of Phoenix, as long as, just like other municipalities throughout the entire country and in the Valley, we always focused on the big business owner, the big guy, because they always brought in more jobs, brought in more tax revenue, and they always got more special treatment. What we started working on literally about 1.5 to 2 years ago was how do we create a model for all business owner, whether you're a yogurt shop or an Intel, which is a large user, you all get treated the same and you all are able to get your plans today, not months from now. So what we did, literally, Councilman Tom Simplet and myself were chair of a committee. We had 125 people on that committee. Now you can imagine how difficult that was. But we had 125 people to solicit ideas from neighborhood leaders to business leaders. We had labor groups on there. We had everybody inputting ideas. And out of that committee, we were able to create what I believe to be the best model to do business in the City of Phoenix. To start a business, retain your business, and to expand your business. That's what we were able to get done. So I'm real excited about it, but I've got 2 individuals here that were critical. They were very critical to making this happen. We have Bob Kubicek with RKAA Architects. He's one of the architects that was the architect of the model that we created. And then Alan Stevenson, who I think is probably the best planning director in the state of Arizona for everything he does. He balances neighborhoods needs with business needs, and at the same time we're able to get the City of Phoenix moving. Put together what I believe to be one of the most complicated things to do, which now is moving really well through the City of Phoenix. But I want to start with Bob a little bit first. Bob, you're an architect. You've been in business for how long?
40 years.
40 years.
At this point.
And you're certified in how many states now?
40 states.
So you can do business in 40 states. So you're able to look at all these other states and realize that the City of Phoenix does what we do. So tell us a little bit about what this new plan that the City of Phoenix put together does and how fast we can create jobs.
Well, in the beginning, just to go back a few steps, years ago, it was a long drawn-out process where it would take approximately anywhere up to 9 months to even maybe a year, depending on the size of the project, to create and get your permit and then build your building. Through the efforts of this group that you put together and Alan, we're able to cut that down to a number of days for large projects. And it's just helped us and our relationships with a lot of our clients saying, yes, you can expand here in Phoenix and we can get you a permit in just as fast as any other place in the United States. And this has really been a marvelous thing for us as architects in particular, and our clients just love it. I mean, they just keep saying, well, if we can find another spot, we're going to come do another outlet here because this is the place that we can get in get things done, and then get open for business and start bringing revenue in to us too. So it's been a wonderful thing in the fact that Phoenix has set up the model, they follow it, and it's been a very clean and even process for us to do. And like I said, it has cut, in some cases, about 9 months out of the process of going in, getting the site plan approval, then getting your permit. It's just been clean. And Alan's been the one who, you know, his group is the one who has made sure this has stayed on a good, clean process.
Well, Alan's been amazing at this. I mean, generally people look and think government takes time to get through, but Alan's been amazing in being able to get people through the process and get jobs created today. Because if you think about it, that's really what it's about. If we're going to grow our economy, we have to make sure that the small guy gets treated the same way as the large guy, and that they're able to get through at the same pace. And so tell us a little bit about some of the technical parts of it that we got through, Alan.
So the ad hoc task force provided a multifaceted direction to staff to make it easier for businesses to open and develop in the city of Phoenix. And so we started out looking at removing special permits and use permits to make it easier to update the zoning requirements for those. We added some general conformance language to allow for more flexibility. And then we moved into increased process requirements so that we could make it easier for projects to get through. So we created a self-certification program that we substantially expanded that is the best in the country. And so virtually all of our projects, you can come in through a self-certification process now, and they can actually be self-certified by a certified design professional and bypass the city's review process, and you can get your permit that same day. And then if you go in, you construct the project. We have an inspection process that 95% of our inspections are done within 24 hours. So you call up by 10 one morning, you'll get your inspection the very next day, so you can move on in the construction process. And so we really have streamlined that, along with a lot of other improvements, to make it that you can get through the development process very quickly in the city of Phoenix.
And some of the things, just to even sum that up, for the person that's viewing this, because Alan is the technical guy who literally created this model. He's like the engineer who helped put this all together. But what it does, and what it is to the person listening in on this and viewing this this program, what it does is literally it moves the city of Phoenix where you get instantaneous permitting. You literally can push a button, because everything's now online, but you push a button, you submit your plans, and you can get your permits online. You get 24-hour inspections, 5-day site plan approval. So what we did is literally took the entire process. A lot of people look at one or two things. For example, if we would have just done 24-hour permitting, everyone would say, wow, that's fantastic. But we went a lot farther than that, a lot farther. What we did is we took the entire process and found efficiencies. We cut red tape all the way through the line. So if this was a 9-month to a year process, it's now down to, in Bob's case, just a few weeks or a few days. So what we were able to do is move it a lot faster, thanks to Alan and his work and his staff right now. There's still some tweaking that we're doing. We're always reviewing to make sure it's being done right too. Isn't that right?
That's correct. We get more projects in and get more experience. We now have about 250 certified professionals. We've done about a little over $700 million in self-certified projects since the inception of the program. So it continues to grow in popularity every year, and will be the wave of the future as more architects become self-certified. We have more developers that are aware of the process. It really does streamline it to the point of taking things down from months to days and weeks to get your permit, to actually then be out starting your project to construct.
You'll find this interesting too, Alan. Literally, a large contractor just told me that they have moved 4 large companies to the city of Phoenix over one of our neighboring cities. I won't say which one it is, but literally moved from there to the city of Phoenix because of the speed and because they were able to get things done quickly in the city of Phoenix and safely.
Yeah. One of the things we hear from the development community on a regular basis is predictability. They need to be able to work with clients to say, look, if you want to locate, here's the different real estate options you have for sites, but if you want to get through the development process, here's the cities where we can offer you the best certainty. We know how their programs work. You know, they're very successful. We can get things through in a very fast manner, and that really does help us get projects and get economic development opportunities here over other cities because we're so efficient at that.
You know, and this really goes back to what I said earlier. You know, the City of Phoenix has always been innovative, always been on the cutting edge, always been the leader when it comes to putting things together that mean something. And I think a lot of the work is because of you and your staff. You know, Cindy Stotler on your staff, others. I mean, you've just done a phenomenal. Mo Glancy is just amazing when it comes to that. A lot of it has to do, you got to make sure you got the right team on board too, because it's always difficult if you don't.
Absolutely. I'm very blessed with a very good staff. You mentioned a couple of key ones, but all the way down the line, I've got some very good staff who are on board with being creative and trying to figure out how to solve problems so that we can balance development timelines, neighborhood interests, and get projects moving forward as quickly as we can. And I'm very fortunate with the staff I have.
So right now, the word hasn't completely gotten out to especially the small business owner how to do that. How do they see this certified list? Now, let me explain to the public what a certified list means. That means you can pick an individual of those 250 people. They've already gone through a training program at the City of Phoenix, and they're certified in order to turn in the plans. All architects are certified through the state, but these individuals have a special certification from the City of Phoenix, right?
Correct. They've gone through a 2-day class to learn how the City of Phoenix handles and deals with things, to kind of learn our process, because we're effectively turning over the review that the city used to do to the in-house architect for them to do their own self-certification and plan checks. So they get that review process through the 2-day class, and then they're on our self-certified list for anyone to go to our website. They're all up there, so you can find your architect that's on our self-certified list, and then you contact them privately and you work it out with them and whatever fees they charge and how they go through the process. And it makes it so that there's a, an added benefit in terms of not just looking at whatever architect you may have used in the past, but now you know, okay, if I got a short timeline, I'm going to this list, I'm going to pick one from there, and I'll be able to make things happen in those days and weeks.
So when you look at, what is the website that they would have to go to?
So it's phoenix.gov, and then click on departments and go to planning and development, and you'll see on our planning and development page there's a self-certification box. So you click on that box and then you'll get a menu list of options, and so within there you can see the self-certified professionals list.
So let's say an individual that wants to open up a yogurt shop. They can literally come in there and say, hey, look, I can normally go through the other process, which would take a little bit of time for them to do that, or they can get their permit a lot faster. And they can do it by just contacting the planning department at the City of Phoenix and going to that self-certified list and hiring an individual off that list because they've been trained on our codes.
Absolutely. And if they're just opening up a yogurt shop inside an existing tenant space, we have some other options for them that are very quick as well, that are permit by inspection. If there was an existing suite that just needed a few things, you might not even need to go through that full process. If it was a bookstore or something before that now you're making into a yogurt shop, you have much less requirements to do. And so there are permit by appointment, permit by inspections that we do. We do over-the-counter permits as well, depending on the amount of work you need to do. So there's a lot of improvements that all came out of that Development Ad Hoc Task Force to really make it across the board. How do we do things faster? Because in order to really grow the economy, you've got to get things out there much quicker, because we just don't have the luxuries of time that we did in the past.
And Bob, one of the things that we've talked about in the committee that really kind of created the impetus to creating this new model was the fact that if you look at a small business owner, let's use the yogurt shop example again. It's an easy one because we all understand it, but every day that that yogurt shop owner didn't open their business was one more day they've collected on debt. They may collect $30,000, $40,000 of debt before they sell 1 cup of yogurt, making it harder for them to succeed. Now, if we're able to open that business owner today rather than months from now, they accumulate less debt, and now they're able to succeed, because most of these individuals put all their hard-earned money that they've had in there to start this new business and look for the American dream.
Yes, as Alan stated, there are several other ways besides self-certification where we can go down that we didn't have before this committee, where we can actually bring in a set of plans, go to the window, and get it permitted that day, which is just very clean, simple, and these small business owners really are impressed with the situation of, wow, I did one of these in another state and it took me 3 months. And
California, which could take you 3 years.
3 years, yes.
And over here, you get it done in a few days.
Right. And it's so, I mean, Alan's group has really cleaned the slate and prepared it for businesses to come in and get that permit as quick as possible so they can open their doors and do what they're here for. Sell a product, create a product, build a product, rather than waiting around and just, as you like to say, collecting debt, because once they start, the bank likes to get their interest.
Well, and I want to make sure the public understands how critical you were. When I mentioned this at the beginning of the program, you were one of the architects of the model. It's true. The committee completely relied on you, Bob, on how to put this thing together. And it's been fantastic. I mean, I wanted to thank you too on behalf of the City of Phoenix and every small business owner for helping put this. It wasn't easy.
No, it wasn't easy, but we had 125 people that were all pulling things together besides myself. So I appreciate the compliments that we had. But we had a good group of people, and if Alan's group didn't pitch in and kind of say, oh, you know, this, what you're doing is great, but let's look at this, I don't think it would have been as fast and had come together as quick as it did, just because of the efforts that your group put together.
Yeah, it was really very much a team effort. We talk about that quite a bit, but this is a perfect example of a team effort. I mean, Alan's team, the private sector, neighborhood groups, labor groups, all sitting in the same room. Now, I remember some of those meetings were pretty contentious, you know, a little rough, but it took a while. But what we were able to do with 125 individuals, we were able to get everybody's thought of what was wrong and what was right. And so what we did is we kept what was right, and then we looked at the things that we could have done a little bit better, and then we were able to mold this new model that that's really being known worldwide, or actually countrywide, for the City of Phoenix. And the main thing that I'm trying to get across to is I want the public, especially the small business owners, to start looking at this. Instead of coming in the way they used to do it, find out ahead of time what is the least expensive way for them to get in and what is the fastest way for them to get in and get their permitting done through the City of Phoenix. You know, it brings me back too of why and how we created this. This is where the conversations were. We all saw what happened in 2009. Prior to that, we had a lot of stability in our markets, in our jobs. Everybody had stability prior to 2007, really. And then around 2007, August, I'll never forget it, is when everything started coming down as a crash. And literally, we've seen this kind of market and this type of economy. And in order to bring more stability to that economy, you've got to make sure that jobs are created faster. It's called speed to market, is what technical terms are. And if we can't get our products to market today, we will not be able to compete. So as the world changed and the economy's changed, and because the world changed in 2009, we're a lot less sure of anything anymore. I mean, look at the price of oil, the price of gas. I mean, literally in just a matter of months, it dropped and it became a bubble. That's how much instability there is out there. So the more stability we create in the market and allow people to be able to be successful and realize the American dream, the lot more successful all of us are going to be. So we're not successful if the yogurt shop fails, right? We're not successful. I mean, if one yogurt shop, one small business owner fails in our city because he wasn't able or she wasn't able to get their product to market on time, we've all failed. So if we can bring them up and bring everybody up to the same level and the same treatment that these large companies get, everyone gets treated the same, now we have mass movement in this economy. So an economy that goes like this is still going to go like that, and markets change like that, but we'll be able to create more of a flatter line in there. And really that's where a lot of this got started and how we got this thing moving. But one of the things that's in the model too, Bob, is the 10% site plan approval, or yeah, the 10% General conformance, yeah.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, in the past, getting a site plan through, depending on the size, so it could take 45 to 60 days. And again, working through the work with Alan and his group, we've gotten that down to 5 days, and that is just, you know, it's just unheard of in most sectors of the United States to get a site plan from ground zero approved through a city in 5 days. So this has been a great advantage to many things because people know what they have to expect in 5 days instead of waiting 45 days and then someone saying, oh, by the way, you have to, you know, bring water in from a mile away and gee, it's here. So, you know, Alan's group has really been a push on, and that has been tremendous for us because we do a lot of planning in our office, and this has cleaned up the planning for us. It made it very nice and something that we can sell our clients on coming to Phoenix for.
Well, we're about to close this segment of On the Issues, but I want the public to realize how important each of you two were in this entire process. If it were not for Alan and your team of getting this thing through from Cindy and Mo and everybody else all the way down to from the top to the bottom levels of your department, and Bob for all the stick-to-itiveness, I mean, even though through some of the difficulty of trying to put this model together, we would not be here today. We would not be talking about how the city of Phoenix does a fantastic job at job creation, and it allows business owners to start their business today and not months from now, and how important that is to not just one business owner, but it's important throughout the entire city and throughout the entire valley. And the fact that now people are coming to the city of Phoenix, they're coming here over other places. I mean, it's just something you've got to be very proud of. I'm very proud to have associated with each of you for being able to get this thing through. I don't think people realize when our economy starts to move at a fast pace that it's going to move to, and people's jobs are a lot more secure and they're making more money at it, that's because of the two individuals I have here today. So I want to thank those of you that are listening today. Remember, the city of Phoenix is focused on job creation. We are focused on improving our economy. And the only way we're going to do that is if you are successful. We're focused on you and your family, and we want to make sure that you are successful. Thank you for listening to On the Issues. I'm Phoenix City Councilman Sal DiCiccio. Check out our websites below if you need any help. Thank you for listening. We'll be right back, and please stay tuned to On the Issues. We're going to our next location, and you're going to really like this one too. Thanks for staying on with us.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
We're back on the issues, and we've got an incredible person here, an incredible organization right in the heart of District 6 at Desert Vista High School. Mr. Dan Zavaleta, or Mr. Z, as most people would call you, the head of the engineering program at Desert Vista. Tell us about your program here and the EPICS program and everything that you're doing here.
Very good. In our program here at Desert Vista, in our engineering program, we've joined on through U of A with our engineering, engineering program with the EPICS program. And EPICS stands for Engineering Products in Community Service. And it gives the students an opportunity to develop and design components that can be used by community members, not only within the community, but outside as well, as we've got projects that are overseas as well as our local projects. What we can show you now is some of the products that we have through our EPICS program.
And every one of these students, they're all getting college credit for this from Arizona State University or University of Arizona.
Yes, through University of Arizona.
Yeah,
getting it through, so
it's fantastic, this program. So let's take a look at some of the programs, and let's look at one in particular that's going to be used up in the Navajo Nation.
they've been doing what we call kind of a power in a box, is kind of the name of it. And what they've been able to do is to utilize, in this case, they've got a little bit bigger batteries, they've got an inverter, and then in this case, they can run the 24 volts through the inverter, comes out 120 volt AC, and then they can either use these for powering lights, they could power possibly computers, they could use this in emergency situations.
Does it recharge?
Yes, we're going to attach a solar panel to it, but it's not attached right now. It's still a work in progress.
Our original design was to use it in the Women's Health Center because if they have to give birth to children at night, they don't have light, so this light will allow them to do that safely.
In some areas of the world that
Correct.
they don't have the ability to have light at night.
Yes.
Wow, that's fantastic. So everything that you're doing here involves reusing and recharging your energy source.
Yes.
I wanted to use this for the reservation because I am half Native American, and I see what my grandparents and my great-grandparents have to go through, and I think this lake would be a great tool to help them out there because of like they don't have as much as technology as we do out here because they're out like in the middle of nowhere.
Well, there are certain parts of the Navajo Nation that get no electricity at all.
Yes, exactly.
And so the idea here is to provide that type of electricity to
Yes,
them.
and it's great because these batteries can be recharged with the solar panel, and you could plug in like a TV or a computer or stuff that you need, like a cell phone.
And then the
This
solar
computer
panel
works.
is right behind you, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So basically, they would be able to tie in, use the batteries for the energy that they need right now, and then during the day recharge it for other uses later on.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's fantastic.
This, I originally designed it just for phone charging systems for Honduras, but as I started building it and realized how much power it has, it could be used for more like lights, like these work lights that take a lot of energy. These small lights, it could be used for medical equipment, cooking equipment, stuff like that, computers, and in countries like in the U.S., if like a power outage happens, this would be able to give you the essential power needed until you can get your power back online. And it's all run off of these solar panels too.
That's fantastic. And then Aaron, about yours now? The
Well,
concept that you both developed?
my idea that I have also taken in part of Matt, Drew's, Ross's, all of our ideas I wanted to put into this. This is a hospital for less fortunate countries such as Fiji or Africa. This originally started with just an idea from last year, and then I decided that it could go a lot larger. So the whole idea behind this is that we will give shelter and first aid to less fortunate people, and with the help of my partners, Matt, he can power all the systems that I need. Ross can give us power and actual usage and clean pollution, like deficiencies and stuff like that. Instead of all those places being more and more polluted off of our energy, we can have these three genius ideas of using solar or the water. They'll all power into my hospital, which will lead to more survivabilities and better countries.
Well, I think that's exciting. I mean, if you look at it, what was done, and just to make sure I bring it to what people understand, is they've taken every one of these genius ideas that these youth are creating here, and they're combining it all into one to create a small hospital. And that small hospital can operate anywhere in the world, because it's all based off of solar, and it's based off of each one of these plans that you put here in each one of these projects. I think that's fantastic. What a great program, and you've got to feel very fortunate.
Thanks. Well, we've done well. Our administrative is very supportive here, and they let us do what we need to do, and so that's been very good.
And I've got two kids that want to become engineers already.
Oh, there you
They're
go.
only 10, so.
Well, we got a good place for them.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll find a home. Well, thank you.
Good. Appreciate it. Thanks.
And that concludes our program with the On the Issues. You're able now to see some fantastic work that's going on in our city. It's done from our youth, it's done from individuals from all over our community. And they give so much, and they do so much, and it's important for you to see how much work that they do. Thanks for everything.